Test.
Testing 1, 2.
Because you're sharing. That's your Zoom screen, but it does, that's what I don't. That's why it's important to doing stuff, because when you share, it's small.
I'm gonna go ahead and start recording, and I'll have to start from 2 guys.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Try to keep it over here.
And David,
Yeah, wherever you're, oh, yeah.
Recording in progress.
Testing. All right. So I'm going to call us to order. We'd like to welcome everyone to our work session. Today is Tuesday, February 6th, and this is our work session. Board members present in the boardroom. We have members Lessons, Holloman, Higgins, Donnelly, and Bellamy. Online, we are expecting to have member Wilson. And I will announce that when I can confirm that. And member Jacobs is on his way. So with that, we are on item B. And board members, at your station, you should have a list of outstanding RFIs. The ones on top, of course, will be answered through Board Connect. Does everyone have a copy? Make sure your items are there, are still there. Member Donnelly, we do owe you a, I just remembered what it was. We do owe you an explanation of the summary, the action minutes. We're trying to do a timeline for you, so we will have that for you in the next Board Connect, hopefully. Does anyone want to add an item to the list? That is not currently there. If it came today, it's not on the list. But if we received it earlier, it is. Okay. So the only one we're adding, America, is member Donnelly's the action minute summary or history timeline.
And I do have one. I sent an email asking for the opt-out rates from the opt-out rates for standardized testing from all.
Oh, the opt-out rates.
So.
Yes. I thought that was in. Andy. Oh, yeah, it is there. Yeah, 2-2.
I guess just to be clear, I would like to get the opt-out rates for all schools as a separate item from knowing which of our school sites were testing schools. So it's really kind of two different requests that are ambiguously worded. Thank you.
Okay. So you want the NAEP testing over the last 5 years and then the opt-out separately. So there's two separate. Okay, got it. Thank you. All right, thank you, guys. Oh, let the record show that member Jacobs has joined us. Can I see if member Wilson is on the, is it anybody else down there? Oh, she needs a link. Okay. We will get her, member Wilson needs the link. Can someone get it to her? Okay, thank you. All right. That brings us to our discussion item C, which is our FY25 budget. Dr. Bryant.
Thank you, Madam President, and good afternoon. So we're going to review the administration's FY25 budget proposal, which, as we know, addresses a $90+ million structural deficit. That's the result of years of flat revenue from the state, record inflation, and lower student enrollment. This budget proposal is understandably of interest to many because so much is at stake when it comes to the education of our students. Some say that a budget reflects one's values, and for that reason, families might understandably feel frustrated and aghast that this budget entails yet another round of increases to pupil-to-teacher ratios, increases in student activity fees, and we'll be discussing even beloved programs such as Ignite and the future of what we'll do to ensure that gifted and talented services continue in ASD. But with that said, I don't propose these changes very lightly, and I would actually argue that this budget proposal is not so much reflective of our values as much as it is reflective of the reality that school districts across the state are in distress, including ASD. For example, it breaks my heart that one of my colleagues in rural Alaska told the media yesterday that they literally have to choose between heat or teachers. And I'm seeing this everywhere. Districts truly are at a breaking point, and we're in dire need of heroes to make the district whole after year of flat funding. So when I said that there are no painless paths ahead for balancing this budget, I was being truthful. And for all the shortcomings of the budget that we'll talk about this afternoon, and I'm sure later this evening, I want to emphasize a few things on behalf of my team. Number one, this does address a $90+ million structural deficit. Number two, this budget avoids massive layoffs. I want the public to be aware that a $90+ million deficit is equivalent to almost 1,000 positions. And that's a reality that we've avoided with this budget. Number two, we've held harmless the pupil to teacher ratio in grades K through 3. And we also aligned this budget to an initial set of priorities from the board, which include school counselors, school security personnel, and credit recovery. So while difficult, we tried our best to preserve the student experience by reducing administrative costs, delaying student technology expenses, closing out teacher holdback positions, again, to protect jobs and to avoid further system-wide increases in PTR. And I want to take a moment to share that we are also proposing spending down fund balance, which is our emergency savings, to an unprecedented 5%, which is half of the 10%, which is the best practice for any organization. And what that means is it weakens our ability to weather emergencies, such as an earthquake, which happened here not too long ago. So the fund balance spend down is $70 million of the $90 million structural deficit.